Tonight's the night. I'm tucked far into the corner of my dark porch, nicely hidden by the swing. The stainless steel butcher knife I bought is waiting in the bathroom cabinet. I'm restless. This has to go according to plan. Last week, Elise was standing in my kitchen when she told me about my enemy's business trip. The outcome of the promotion he's up for will be decided on the results of said business trip. She said she was planning a combined good luck / last event in her house party before she leaves. Elise's lease on the house is up in the beginning of September. She's moving with him in the second. She said she wanted to celebrate all the good things that are happening. She said a party with lots of food, drinking, and noise would be a good way to kick off the direction her life is going in. I declined my invitation, saying I had plans to see my sister and her family. I told her I'd come over next morning with coffee and breakfast, helping her pack up things. There was no need to fish for details. Elise was kind enough to divulge everything. She chattered away, planting new flowers in my backyard while I silently took note. My enemy has to leave at midnight due to his morning flight. Elise said he plans on getting properly drunk and catching the bus home. The moment she mentioned the party, my other self started shemming. We stayed up 3 nights formulating a plan. We perfected it. We rehearsed it. I know where everything is gonna happen. I know how, and I know when. Or almost when. He was supposed to leave the party around 12 on the dot. I've been sitting on my porch for the past 40 minutes waiting. He's off schedule. I swallow the lump in my throat. We're an hour behind. I take deep breaths, focusing on steadying my hands. My enemy better come outside soon. A large slice of light, its snippets of conversation and laughter bleed onto the sidewalk in the front of Elise's house. I peek from behind the swing. My enemy stumbles slightly out the front door, waving goodbye. He stops a second, eyes adjusting to the dark. I smashed the light bulb in the street lamp early this morning. Let step 1 commence, I whisper to myself in the night. My enemy stands on the sidewalk, bent over. I stand slowly, wait a moment before quietly opening the door and shutting it loudly to get his attention. My enemy spins around and squints in my direction.
Is someone there?
He asks, wobbling slightly. I clear my throat and step off the porch. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. How's it going? I ask. I wait a few seconds for the recognition to penetrate his alcohol-clouded mind. Elise introduced us once. I was mowing my lawn, and they were leaving her house. It was the worst 2.5 minutes of my life. She tried to get us all to hang out together several times since. I always find an excuse. My enemy looks confused. I can almost see the wheels turning inside his head. He'd have better luck if he didn't smell like keg. When it dawns on him, he smiles and offers me his hand.
Hey man, Elise said you couldn't make it tonight.
My niece got sick. I wasn't allowed in quarantine zone. My enemy laughs and stumbles. You doing alright? Do you need some water? I ask, gesturing towards my house. My enemy shakes his head.
Nah, I'll just guzzle some when I get home.
He sways his feet. Are you driving?
Nope. Bus.
My enemy points to the direction of the bus stop. I nod slowly.
You say something?
Do you want to ride? Wouldn't be any trouble. I'm sure Elise would prefer it. A smile spreads across my enemy's face.
She's pretty great, isn't she?
I clench my teeth and fists. She's the best. My enemy mulls his options before nodding. Why not? My heart pounds. How do I get him inside?
Tell him you need to look up directions.
Want to come in for a minute? I need to look up directions to your house in case you pass out. He palms sweat profusely. If I can get him inside, the plan will be back on track.
I can get them on my phone.
My enemy pulls out his phone out of his back pocket and drops it in the grass.
Whoops.
He picks it up and fumbles his fingers over the touchscreen. I sneer in disgust. Elise doesn't deserve this pathetic mess.
You've been out here too long.
Oh God, I feel panicked. This isn't going according to plan. It's all wrong. Come on in. I made coffee when I got home from my sister's. It should still be hot. My other self injects a velvety of smoothness with my normally insecure tone. I led my enemy steps into my house.
Coffee sounds good.
My enemy fights to find that last word. His glazed eyes take back the living room. He nods with approval.
Bathroom. Where?
Last door on the left, I say. He sets his phone on the couch and trudges down the hall, unknowingly helping me cancel out step 2. Perhaps it is a sign of a smooth sailing from here on. I almost feel excited and sick. Oh, I feel sick. What do I do? I whispered shakily.
Get him inside. Tackle him, take the knife and plunge it into his heart. It'll be fun.
My other self communicates the word fun. It makes my skins crawl.
Do it, do it, do it!
Stop! I will! Stop saying that!
Do it.
Hey, do you have an aspirin?
My enemy yells from the bathroom. I lean against the wall, my heart pounding against my chest. I don't know if I can do this.
You have to do this.
I have to do this?
You have no other choice.
I have no other choice.
Elise belongs to you.
Elise is mine.
Go now.
I rub my sweaty hands on my pants. My body shakes. Comes tremors. I make my way to the bathroom. The door is wide open. My enemy is splashing his face with water. What did you need? I ask, my voice breaking.
Aspirin. This is gonna hurt in the morning. I have a long flight.
He says, massaging his temples. He sits on the ledge of the bathtubs and rubs his eyes vigorously. I reach for the mirrored medicine cabinet and open it. The butcher knife rests at the bottom shelf. I freeze. How could I have forgotten? I slam the cabinet shut before it's too late. My enemy isn't blind.
Hey, what is that? What do you have a knife in there for? It's kind of weird, bro.
My enemy's hiccups clash with the instant wariness of his voice. I met his gaze in the mirror. My other self reaches his fingers inside my mouth, stretching his lips for a cunning smile. It's what I'm gonna kill you with, I say quietly. I turn around, my enemy is hiccuping. He raises his eyebrow at me.
Oh, that's fucked up.
We stare at each other in silence. I reach a trembling hand for my knife. I wrap my fingers around it. My enemy focuses on the knife. His face pales. He doesn't want to believe it. Despite of the concern forming in his eyes, he keeps his cool. My enemy stands and shakily rubs his forehead.
I'm just gonna go. I'll take the bus.
I said, this is what I'm gonna kill you with. I repeat, my voice raising with frustration and dripping with malice. My other self cackles in my head. I tighten my grip on my knife. I see the realization pushing through the forefront of my enemy's fuzzy mind. The change in his face in the split second. He truly understands he might never walk out my front door. My enemy blinks in rapid succession. Time stands still. We stay there, silent, staring at each other for what feels like hours. His eyes flit and flick around the room, searching for a way out of this mess. I hold the butcher knife with an iron grip. He could never take this knife from me. Would he try? What if he does? What if he... Without notice, my enemy lunges for the bathroom door. My other self propels my arm, and the door slams shut. I catch my enemy's reflection in the mirror again. He looks terrified.
He should be.
What the fuck is this? Let me leave.
He shouts, holding his hands out in front of him, creating as much distance as he can in a space so small. I steady the grip of my knife and flash a toothy grin. I take a step towards him. He staggers. He thrusts his arms out to push me back. His fist grazes my eyebrow before I knock his arms away and I punch his face. He stumbles back against the wall, holding his hand to his eye.
What the fuck? This is fucking messed up. Why are you doing this?
Sobering instantly, his shoulders shake. My enemy's calm, drunken demeanor has officially disappeared, leaving nothing but a horrified, pathetic man. This is all a part of the master plan, I hissed accordingly. This is my justice served. Her heart's not big enough for the both of us. My body shakes with rage. My enemy frowns.
Elise? This is about Elise?
He whimpers. His body trembles. I hate hearing him say her name. I hit the wall with my knifeless hand in frustration. You can't have her anymore. She's mine.
Don't touch her. Don't you fucking touch her, you psycho piece of shit.
Demonic giggle. It's flowing through my veins. It pulses with my heartbeat. I want this moment to be over. I want this moment to last forever. I laugh like a maniac. Nothing will stand in my way when you're gone. Can't you tell by the grin on my face?
No. If you even go near her, I'll kill you.
You'll kill me. You'll never make it through the night. I lunge forward. The time my enemy does. His right hand catches the blade before it drives into his stomach. My enemy stops short. His eyes shatter. His shoulders shake. His Adam's apple bobs once, twice, 3 times. He tries to swallow. A single tear slides down his cheek. I watch it drop off his chin and onto the tiled floor. He follows my gaze downward. My blood boils. My skin burns. I steady my grasp on my knife. I step forward, boring it deeper into his gut. I push it until all that's left is the hilt. It's not enough. I shove my knife in harder. My enemy trips over the ledge of the tub and falls into the porcelain coffin. I slowly withdraw my knife from his stomach. He screams and I laugh. It's good the party's still going. Elise would never hear you scream. I laugh again. My enemy's eyes widen. I laugh harder, driving the knife into his flesh. He chokes on a mouthful of blood and spits it onto my shirt. That wasn't very nice, I say, keeping my eyes on his. Tears fall down his cheeks. This is the best night of my life.
Leave her alone,
he whispers through bloody teeth. Elise? I don't think so. She's mine now, you pretentious fuck. I can smell his fear.
End it now.
I smile. Okay, we can end this now. My enemy chokes and sobs on blood, trying desperately to say something. He doesn't deserve my listening ears. It's not like Elise does. Beautiful, perfect Elise with her chocolate hair and hazel eyes. That could stop traffic. Elise with slender figures and delicate hands. Hands that will never caress his face again. Lips that will never kiss his. Arms that will never hold him. I look down at my enemy. Blood bubbles from his gut, streaking my tub. I shake my head. Look at the mess you've made. That's not very nice either. My enemy bleeds and cries more. Shut up! Stop crying, I say. My enemy cries harder. Stop! I scream. My enemy shakes his head no. Stop it now! I pull my knife from his bloody body and raise it over my head and sink it through his chest again and again. He stops crying and continues bleeding. I laugh as the tub fills with metallic smelling blood. I laugh as his blood mists my face and the clothes. All the clothes are soaked. I can't breathe though. I'm laughing too hard as I watch his soul take flight. My enemy's foot twitches once, twice before going still. My chest stops moving. The strong smell of urine mixes with the blood as my enemy lets go of the last claim of control he has over his body. His lifeless eyes stare at me, and I stare back at them. There's nothing left but flesh, bones, blood, and organs. He's gone, and I'm free. I wipe the bloody spray from my face with my sleeve. The house is silent. The music from Elise's lingers next door. I stand up and face the mirror. I look like I've been to war.
You have, and the war has been won.
My other self grins.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
I look around the bathroom, feeling dizzy. I take a deep breath to slow my racing heart. The scent of blood assaults my nose. There's so much red. All I can see is red. I sink down, sprawling on the tile inches away from a pool of blood. I sink down, sprawling on the tile inches away from the pool of blood.
Get up. You have to clean up now. You need to clean up for Elise.
My head feels fuzzy, and and the black spots dot my vision. I close my eyes. Oh, I feel nauseous. I'm sweating and shivering at the same time. But I smile. Elise. I'll see Elise tomorrow. She'll be happy he's gone. She'll be relieved to be with me. She'll be happy I saved her. It's all happening tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the first day of the rest of our lives. Elise is so happy she can't speak. She throws her arms around my neck, thanking me for saving her from my enemy's clutches. I wipe my happy tears from my face. My fingers come back warm and sticky. Tears are warm, but they're not sticky. I look at the crimson blood staining my fingertips. My face twists in horror when I see the dark blood blemishing what was her tear-streaked cheek. More blood tears leak from her eyes, painting a spiderweb down her face. I want to scream, but I don't want to startle her. I don't want her happiness to subside. The smells are overwhelming, and the harsh stench of blood paired with her subtle orchard perfume. I might throw up. I'm gonna throw up. My eyes wrench open as I'm leaning over the toilet bowl in seconds, heaving with all my might. I leave a blood print on the flusher. I stare at my hand, then at the carnage covering my bathroom. What I dreamt was Elise's face in the puddle of blood. My stomach threatens to be empty again. I wipe my hand on my pants and look over around at my mess. I wipe my hand on my pants and look around again. I made a mess. My enemy made a bigger mess. His body is twisted up in the tub, vacant, eyes permanently focused on the ceiling. Blood leaks from the holes on his body. Blood footprints on the tile. Blood trickles down the side of the tub. It pools in the bottom. Slowly, drip by drip, coming from the side and going down the drain. I've left several sticky handprints on the sink and toilet in an effort to pull myself off the floor. I'll never enjoy the color red ever again.
I've never enjoyed the color red so much.
I shudder and look at my watch. It's after 2 in the morning.
You're terribly behind schedule.
He's right. I'll never be able to clean up and make it to the lake before sunrise. I'll never make it anywhere. There's too much blood, too little time. Fuck! I punch the wall. The drywall cave crumbles in my force. What do I do? What do I do?
What to do, what to do.
Any ideas? I pace in the direction of the tile, not tainted with blood. I can't concentrate. I drop to my hands and knees. It's a weird sensation against my skin, a mix of cold tile and still warm blood. Fuck! I whisper. What am I gonna do? The lake is out. I can't put him in the car. There's too much blood. I can't keep him in the bathroom until tomorrow night. I don't want my house to reek of death.
You do have a nicely cultivated garden out back, with plenty of flowers to help mask the scent.
I can't do that. Elise works too hard on it.
Fine, keep him in the tub. She can have a nice reunion next time she uses the bathroom.
My stomach flip-flops on the floor when I witness the gruesome scene. My other self crackles.
I didn't think so. Now move.
I get off the floor and stare at my enemy's lifeless body. He's too heavy to carry, but I can't drag him. Too much blood.
Cut him up, bury him piece by piece. Easy.
What is easy about that? I hover over the toilet and heave. There's nothing left but my demon. Once again I find myself surrendering to my free will with its violent suggestions. What should I use?
The hacksaw is in the shed. It's a bit rusty, but it'll do. You only have about 4 hours until sunrise.
I slam the bathroom door shut through my house, skidding to stop at the back door. I turn off the lights in the kitchen and I grab the flashlight from the junk drawer. I slide the door open just enough to squeeze through. It's quiet outside. Even the neighborhood dogs are silent. Even the lights are off now. Even Elise's are off. The moon has taken over behind the overcast sky. Only a faint glow from behind the clouds lights my path. I wedge the door open. With the switch of the flashlight, the toolbox sits on top of a broken patio table I've been meaning to trash. I grab the hacksaw and quietly leave the shed. Once I'm inside, I go around locking the windows and doors, closing all blinds. I pause before the bathroom door, wondering if the bloodbath on the other side will be worse than I recall. I twist the doorknob and push it open. I don't know how, but the scene is even grislier than before. There seems to be double the stab wounds, 3 times the blood, and the smell is amplified by millions. I stop and drop on my knees in front of the toilet, and more huge cold porcelain to my chest, gagging until I see stars.
Tie a towel around your face. It'll help.
I grab a towel and knot it around my head. I keep the nose and my mouth covered. I take a few deep breaths. One big breath of the smell of blood, sweat, and rusty metal. Exhale, another of feelings of regret, fear, and guilt. Exhale, the third breath, twisted feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment and sick excitement. I pick up the hacksaw and take my enemy's arm. I straighten it out and touch the sharp toothed blade with the inner crook of his elbow. I press downward, dragging the saw against the soft flesh. He sinks halfway through the skin and tissue. I rake the saw against the arm again. This time I hit bone. The sound isn't terribly different from sawing through wood, yet it cuts me down to my core. Cutting the bone echoes in my ears. I feel sick, but I can't throw up again. I can't be weak. I need a distracting noise. Though I can't listen to music at a time like this, I need something to help me plain. It needs to be something meaningless. I need late night TV. I need infomercials. I turn on the living room TV, and I turn it to channel 11 in seconds, and there's an infomercial about the newest product in home gym technology. I turn the TV up, volume loud enough to distract me while I was in the tub. I pick up the saw and vigorously attack my enemy's arm. Blood seeps down the gaping wound. I go at it faster and faster, back and forth, back and forth. I pull my hand in and out. I have to finish, pulling with such force when his arm finally detaches and I fly backwards, spraying the walls of blood with its pulpy muscle. I can't waste time throwing up with all this. I bind myself to the gore in front of me and start sawing the ankle of his right foot. My cool demeanor dissolves when I hit bone again. Oh fuck, I can't do this. I cry, tears threaten up and spill in my eyes. But my other self won't let them. I feel them grab the saw and return to my enemy's ankle. I feel like something's burning, and the sound of metal is grinding, bone and dust driving me insane. I feel the focus of the infomercial coming from the living room. My enemy's ankle separates from his body. I hear the infomercial, off with his right arm. I'm growing immune to the stench of the early stages of decay, but not the sound of blood gurgling and leaking from the stumps there, where my enemy's limbs used to be. I try to remember that this is all justifiable.
This is what we wanted, which is why it feels so right. Say it.
This is what we wanted, which is why it feels so right. I say it, though clenched my teeth. My other self goes to work on my enemy's neck.
More conviction.
This is just what he wanted, which is why it feels so right. And I sever my enemy's head. My jaw drops, the saw drops, his head drops. It lands face down in the blood at the bottom of the tub. I don't make it to the toilet this time. When I'm through reacting, I throw a towel over the spot of the floor. I throw another towel over the mess of the tangled, bloody parts. A living, breathing, heart beating, blood pumping human is all over the place. Dismembering my enemy took longer than I thought it would. I need garbage bags. I grab a few from the kitchen and return to the bathroom. One by one, I concentrate on putting my enemy's limbs in the bags, twisting them up, double bagging them, and knotting them closed. I set them on the clean spots on the floor. I look through my watery veil of tears at the amount of blood in my formerly white bathroom. The walls look like a Jackson Pollock painting. I don't know how I'm gonna clean it all up. Where do I begin? I pick the knife up off the floor and wipe most of the blood off my shirt. I set it carefully on the ledge of the bathroom sink and resolve to come back to it later. I wipe as much blood off the bathroom floors as I can with towels. It doesn't even clean up as much as smear around. I'm gonna have to completely repaint the floor. The blood pooled is soaked into the bathroom and the bottom paint flaked wood. I grab some tile cleaner and bleach from under the sink and spray down the walls. I spray the floor and the smudges and the sink and the toilet. I douse the tub with bleach and let the cleaner soak in and work its magic while I bury the bags. It cuts thin pink lines in the wall, and pools and tie-dye of bleach and blood were at the bottom of the tub. I still have to dig a hole deep enough to fit all the garbage bags. I gather 2 of them on my arms, leaving the bathroom. A ringing phone cuts me over the infomercial still blaring, leaving the room. I drop the bags on the floor and snatch my enemy's phone from the couch cushions. I press ignore, revealing the other 4 missed calls and 3 new voicemails on the home screen. I take a seat on the couch, delighted to see he doesn't keep his phone locked with a passcode. I listen to the willingness to skip out on his business trip, blowing the possibility of a promotion. I delete them and open a new text message. I write a breakup text to Elise, telling her the new promotion equals a constant travel, meaning my enemy doesn't want to be tied down. I tell the relationship is just not meant to be, that the decision of moving together was made in haste. He wants to have fun on these trips, if she knows what he means, not to be tied down by someone waiting for him at home. I tell her to save herself the pain and never contact him again. I tell her to let him go. I pick up the 2 bags and carry them outside to the garden. I came back inside, switch off the TV and go back in the bedroom. I take the phone from my pocket and throw it on my bed. I'll bet Elise can't believe he's breaking up with her over text message. I'd never do that. I peel the bloodied clothes from my body and scrub the blood from my arms and face until they're raw, trying my best to avoid the bleach-soaked stains on the floor. I gather up all the clothes and towels and wrap them in blood. Blood splattered on the shower curtain, and I stuff them in a garbage bag. I throw an old pair of gym shorts and a ratty t-shirt for digging. I gather the rest of the bags in my arms and go to the shed. I survey the garden. How does one choose the best place to bury a body? I settled for the spot where Elise was tending yesterday. As much as I hate to dig the flowers up, it is still disturbed and out of place. I could bury the body parts under the flowers and put them back on top. It'll have to do. The sky is 2 shades lighter by the time I finish. The scent of the dewy earth is a nice change from the blood and bone dust. The hole isn't incredibly deep, but it's good enough to hide the bags a foot under the earth. Once the bags are buried, I go back inside. I strip out of my dirty clothes once more and put on a clean pair of gym shorts and a white shirt. I take my last clean towel, rubbing off as much dirt and sweat as I can. Dawn is breaking by the time I leave the bathroom. Grateful for a moment's reprieve, I had a moment of tableau. I'll finish cleaning in a minute. I need a glass of water, or coffee, or something. I need a shot of whiskey. I wander to the kitchen, rubbing my eyes. Through the window above the sink, I could see the lights. It was on in Elise's kitchen. I look at the clock. It's almost 6:30 a.m. She's up early. Her curtains are open, like always, granting me permission to watch. I stand there, staring at the house for a minute, before she wanders into view of her own kitchen. She's wearing a light blue tank top and black pajama shorts, printed with neon-colored stars. She pours herself a cup of coffee and leans over her countertop, mug in one hand, cell phone in the other. She takes a sip of her coffee and puts the cell phone down, shaking her head. She runs her hands down her hair a few times in front of the sink.
Go now. She knows he's gone. She saw the message. Go make your move. Go claim your prize.
I move fast around the kitchen, gathering containers of pre-sliced fruit I bought. I'm not supposed to go over till breakfast until 9. I was going to pick up 2 coffees first, but what's the point of waiting? She's up. She's already made coffee, and I want our life together to start as soon as possible. I throw on a thin sweatshirt and tennis shoes on, and I leave my house. I head down the front path and walk next door to Elise's. I brush my hair and wait. It takes a few moments before she opens the door. "Good morning," I say, smiling. She looks at me a little confused. Her eyes are still red and puffy. She doesn't really look awake yet. She brings her hands to the loose braid knotted over her shoulder and tugs at the end.
What are you doing here?
I'm a little hurt by the unpleasant tone. I swallow my uneasiness and smile. "Breakfast, remember?" I hold up a bag of food in my arms. I saw your lights are on and figured since you're up, I'd come over. I thought we could get a head start on packing early.
Oh,
She pinches the bridge of her nose with her thumb and her pointer finger.
that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Small tingles of irritation make waves throughout my body. We made this plan last week to make up for the missing party last night. I reminded her. I step closer and she steps back farther inside the house a little.
I know, I'm sorry, but it's not a good time right now. I can't do this today.
Elise shakes her head. She sniffles a little bit and I see tears in her eyes. I hate to see her cry. Whoa, 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 what's wrong? She looks at me with teary eyes.
I got royally dumped. Over text message.
Text breakup, huh? That's rough. I'm sorry.
It doesn't make sense though. I don't understand. Everything went perfectly last night. Everything was fine. We were fine. This doesn't add up to me.
I hate to tell you, but guys don't make much sense. It's fact of the male gender, I say smiling, and she scowls a little.
Girls don't make much sense either, but at least we like to talk about things. This really doesn't make sense. We're moving in together in a few days. I called him as soon as I woke up and saw this, but he didn't answer. He's probably still on the plane. I need to talk to him. I need to ask him what the hell he's thinking. Something isn't right. He wouldn't do that out of the blue. Something had to have happened. I need to know.
She opens the door a little wider and gestures me to come in. Maybe it's something you don't want to know. Maybe you should just leave it alone and move on. I set down the bag of food on the coffee table in her living room. She shuts the front door and crosses her arms, turning around to face me.
You're joking, right? Why wouldn't I want to know? He's my boyfriend. You're moving in together.
She enunciates the words as if I didn't understand her the first time. I wince. How could I forget? She lets out a mean, short laugh.
Besides, I'm not going to just move on. I've devoted almost a year of my life to this relationship. I thought this was the big one. I know it is.
It's not! I snap loudly. I feel my face flush. Why would you say something like that? This is it. I have to tell her I love her. I'll have to tell her. She'll forget all about my enemy.
Don't do it. This is not the time. Listen to me. You won't like what happens if you don't listen to me.
You're wrong, I tell my other self.
I know it is.
Elise throws up her hands exasperated. Just listen. I know this is mean, but I'm glad he dumped you. You're too good for him. He didn't deserve you anyway. He didn't deserve any part of you. But it's okay now. I took care of everything. She looks at me confused. I take this opportunity to tuck loose strands of her hair braid behind her ear. She flinches. But I was right. It doesn't feel like sateen. I tenderly caress her cheek before she can respond. I lean in and kiss her. The smell of orchids is overwhelming. Her lips are soft and taste of salty tears. She stiffens against me. I open my eyes. Her eyes are wide open and shocked, and she pushes away.
Stop. Please. Why are you doing this right now? I don't understand.
What don't you understand? I ask her softly. I take her hand again and she pulls it away.
Don't. I have a boyfriend.
Aggravation seeps from my pores. I snap. No, you don't! Because he's gone. He's never coming back. You're gonna have to get used to it. He is never coming back. I spit the words out, frustrated at her lack of cooperation and all this. Why can't you see this? He just wants to mess around, remember? So save yourself from the pain and never contact him again. My hand twitches with impatience. Elise blanches.
I never told you what he said. How would you know he said that?
She asks quietly.
Why did you say that?
Leave. Leave now. You're a fool. You've said too much.
I have to go. I get off the couch and hurry past her to the door.
Wait!
Elise shouts. I slam the door closed before she reaches it. I run down to the front steps, but across both our yards. I've only just shut my front door and she bursts through it.
Hey, answer my question. How the hell do you know what he said to me?
She yells at me furiously. My chest shakes with each breath I take.
Don't let her know.
My tongue is glued to the roof of my mouth. I can't yell at her to get out of the house. I've worked too hard to get her into it. I took care of him. He won't bother you anymore. Elise slams the door shut and storms over to me, jabbing her finger into my chest with every word.
What do you mean he won't?
She stops short. Her nose wrinkles in disgust.
What does that smell?
She covers her nose with her hand. She steps around me and peers down the hall in the direction of the bathroom.
What is that smell?
I step in front of her and grab her shoulders. You can't go in there. She twists out of my hands and bolts down the hall. She only gets a few yards away from me before coming halted. Stop in the bathroom. The door opens to reveal the truth I never wanted her to see. Her shoulders go slack and she's frozen in her spot, hands thrown to her mouth. She lets out a wail before turning to me, her face conveying nothing but utter terror. I watch the light in her eyes burn out. I should have finished cleaning the blood when I had the chance. I could have. I should have. I would have. She screams again. Stop it! I say harshly. She keeps screaming. I rub my throbbing temples. I wish she could stop.
What did you do?
Stop it! I yell, rushing over to her. A wave of rage shudders through my body. She shrinks against the bathroom wall, still tainted with cleaner and blood. Her hand is down, and arms are raised to keep away. Just listen to me! I slam my fist against the wall next to Elise's head and hold it there, hovering over her. She stops screaming and huddles there, afraid and trembling like a leaf in the wind. My inner demon is pounding on my ribcage, pleading to be set free. My body burns. I rear back and drive my fist into the wall 3 times, crumbling my drywall. My other self needs to destroy something, and I can't let it. I won't let it. It can't be her face.
You hurt him, didn't you?
Her body quakes with fear. Hurt him? Yes, I hurt him. But it's okay. Don't be scared. I'll never leave you, I say, putting my hands on her shoulders. She wrenches out from under my grasp.
You killed him?
Baby, don't scream. I did this all for you and me. I feel anxious and annoyed. She's not acting the way she's supposed to. She's not following my script. She's not going with this well. Tears spill from her eyes, and she shakes her head in disbelief. She spots the blood-speckled knife on the sink next to the phone and collapses into herself, crying.
Let me in. Let me take care of this.
Elise stops crying and abruptly glances at me, keeping her glassy eyes locked on mine. She takes advantage of the moment, and she tries to run away. I grab her waist and throw her back into the bathroom.
Let me go! You're a monster!
My other self cracks through my ribcage and crawls out of my chest. I feel him settle over my entire body, the cool mist on my warm skin. There is no we. There is no he. There is only me. My blood curdles and my temper flares. I've walked the boundaries of sanity for her. How dare she?
Take her, now.
How could you call me a fucking monster? After everything I've done for you. I spit at her. Elise cowers, and she stands trembling and crying. I reach my hand out for her. She screams, pressing herself against the wall. Bitch, don't scream. I did this all for you and me. You better be happy. I punch the mirror next to her head, sending shatters of glass going across the floor. Elise flinches.
Why did you do this? Tell me!
Her eyes are bloodshot and swollen. She's shaking like a leaf. She doesn't understand what I've done to earn her love. I crack a smile. Because I love you. Elise closes her eyes and releases a scream that makes my ears bleed. She has to stop. Don't scream! I pin her against the wall and cover her mouth with my hand. My hands take up half her face. Elise struggles against me. Her warm breath tickles down the palms. Please stop. I'm begging you. Be thankful. I love you. She fights harder. Stop screaming, and I'll let you go, okay? I growl in her ear. She doesn't stop. Her scream escapes my clutches when my sweaty hand slips off her mouth. I grab her face firmly. Don't scream! I did everything for you! I snarl. Elise's eyes are still fixated on mine. Her face is red and stained with tears.
No. You did all of this for you.
I love her. I hate her. I explode. I take her head and smash into the wall. First impact into the wall. Her head pleads for me to stop. Second impact, a new stain of blood on the white paint. Her eyes beg me to stop. Third impact, a sickening crack. And the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. Elise goes limp. My arms, and I have to stop. Her head rolls onto my shoulder. I see the blood in her hair. Elise falls into my arms. The back of her head. Oh no. Blood trickles slowly down under her left ear. I jump back. I'm grasping for air. My body, slick with sweat, shivers down my spine. I breathe deeply, frozen in my spot. I stare intensely at Elise's body, lying haphazardly on the floor. I will it to move. I strain my eyes. A twitch from her fingers. A little rise to her chest to confirm she's still breathing. I wait. There's nothing. A sob forms deep in my chest. A threatening to break free. I kneel down to her. Elise! I whisper shakily, brushing her hair on my face. I nudge her. Get up! I nudge her again. Please get up! Get up, Elise! I shake her harder this time. The blood is slowly pooling under her head. Get up! I scream. With my head, I cup her cheek, and I face her. There's no light in her eyes. She isn't there. There's an earthquake inside my chest. My heart divides into a million pieces. Here, in front of me, lies Elise, with her unresponsive hazel eyes and her tangled, blood-matted chocolate hair. Elise, with her cooling, delicate hands and the smile I'll never see again. I pick her up, her lifeless hand, and I cry. I howl, I sob, I moan. I pound the floor with my fist. I shake with wrath and agony. She is my life, my dream. I never knew the cost of my dream would be to her. Here lies my only destiny, my reason for living. Here lies my sunrise. Here lies my victim. I can't breathe. She's right. I did this all for me. Oh no.
No, she's wrong.
My other self-explanation rings in my ears. I sit there, next to the hollow shell that used to be Elise, until the shakes of cries officially stop. I slowly pick myself off the floor. I look into the shattered remainder of the mirror on the wall and see my other self staring back at me. He shakes his head disappointed.
It's better this way. This was necessary. She would have been a liability. She would have told on you. I'll fix this.
No! I scream. My body aches with every pulse of my heart. Each beat, a reminder that I rendered Elise's heart still and silent. The knife I stole my enemy's life with is the one where I left it. I pick it up and trace the blade over my veins, over my right arm. My other self's eyes widen with curiosity.
What are you doing?
What I should have done from the beginning. I can't live bound by your embrace. You can't fix anything. I should have known from the start. I would have only been left with a broken heart. Fresh waves of pain crash over my body. I can't take it anymore. I broke her heart. It's time to break yours. The only way for me to live is for you to die. My other self screams as I grab his arm. I press the tip of the blade into his veins, starting at his wrist, filleting his arm up to his elbow. My other self staggers on his feet. I slice open his left arm. He looks at me in the mirror, red eyes blazing before falling onto the sink. A tear rolls down my face as I watch him die. There's no one there. I wrench my gaze back into the mirror. He's gone. An agonizing pain burns through me as I look down. Wounds identical to my other self has appeared on my forearms. Oh no. My tendons snap. I fall next to Elise. I feel faint. I feel numb. I feel darkness. Blood oozes from my arms. I take her hand in mine. There's no inner demon left to taunt me, to bait me, to sell me false hope. I am the nightmare. The evil slowly takes over when I'm a murderer. I'll never see her pretty face again. I'm a disgraceful, vile, evil, worthless piece of shit. I'm a creature of the night. I can't live my life caught in this lie. Goodbye, and good night.